So guys, you're welcome back to the mathematics made by the game changer. So there's something that I would like us to do that I forgot doing that, but that was the rationalization of sets. Rationalization of sets. So during the time that we were doing sets, I forgot to mention this topic and this part of sets because this is a very important factor of sets. So there's no way that you can do sets without doing sets rationalization. And when we talk about rationalization sets, it means what we are meaning here is that you multiply a set by another set to get a rational number. You multiply a set. You're multiplying a set by another set to get a rational number. In most cases, people normally talk about rationalizing the denominator. But it doesn't mean that you can rationalize only the denominator. You can as well rationalize the numerator to get a rational number. So, but in most cases, people talk about particularly rationalizing the denominator because they want to have a rational number or they want to have a number, just a complete integer at the denominator. And the thing is, the number that you are using, that particular number that you are using, or let me say, that particular factor that you are using to multiply that set is what is known as the rationalizing factor, RF. So this is something that is very critical and very crucial for one to know when rationalizing sets. It's very important. So please take note of this particular point because it is confusing, but it is doable. So let's look at one or two examples. So, or before I move to one or two examples, let's take an example. You can be asked for something like, for example, you have root of x. You have been asked to multiply or to rationalize the root of x with this one. There you see I just put a short form of it with root of x. So this something like this now will now give you the root of x times, because we say it's multiplying two sets. Rationalizing set means multiplying two sets. The root of x times root of x is the same as the square root of x times x, which is the same as square root of x squared, and this one now gives us x. So we see now that we have rationalized this root x with root x by multiplying both, and that is why we have just an x, because from indices we have already seen that, or from indices, and as well as from indices we have already seen that a to the power minus to the power half divided, or a square, let me say a square to the power half is the same as a square square root of a square, and this one will now give us a, and we see that if we cancel this half here, we now have a. So that's how it makes life easy. So let's look at some examples before we move at some other crucial things. So let's look at this example now. Examples. So examples of sets rationalization. Examples of sets rationalization. Number one, we have been asked to rationalize 1 root x. Number two, we have been asked to rationalize 2 root 2. Number three, we have been asked to rationalize 3 root 5 and root of 6. So let's look at this. So do not forget as well, there's something I would also like to mention. Rationalizing sets mean writing these sets in another form. So let's take a look. So we have been asked here to rationalize the following. So we have been asked to rationalize the following. Solution number one. This one now, what we are going to do here is we are going to rationalize the denominator. We are going to rationalize the denominator. So here we take 1 on root x times root x on root x. You cannot multiply it directly. You can only multiply like this. Root x times root x, which will now give us root of x on root of x times root of x. We have already seen previously that root of x times root of x gives us x. So this one will now be the root of x on x. So you can still write this number as, you can still write this one as this. They still mean the same thing. Still mean the same thing. Number two, simply you have been asked to rationalize this. So this one will now give us 2 root 2 times root 2 times divided by root 2, and this one will now give us 2 root 2 on 2 times 2, and here we will now have 2 root 2, 2 times root 2 will now give us 2 root 2, and this one will now have, this one will now be divided by the square root of 4, and this one will now be 2 root 2, 2 root 2 divided by 2, and in this place our answer will now give us root 2, and that will be the answer for this. Yes. So we now move to this. For this now we now say, yes, oh, I'm sorry, I do not have a big board, but that one will be coming. So 3 root 5 on root 6 times 3 times root 6 on root 6. So root 6, since we know that the root of x times root of x is equal to x, so in this case we now say root 6 times root 6 will now give us 6. So this one now will now be 3 root 5 times root 6. Now this one will still be the same as 3 root 5 times 6 on 6. This one goes here 1, this one goes 2. We now stay now with 5. No, we now stay now with 5 times 6 is, you say the square root of 30. The square root of 30 on 2. And that will be our answer for this. So let's do 1 or 2 more examples again, then we start something new. So we are still continuing now. They say rationalize. Example number 4, rationalize the following. Yeah, so number 4, we have been told that we have been told to rationalize root 2 minus 1 on root 2 plus 1. And number 5, we have been asked to 3 on 1 minus root 2 to rationalize this as well. And this one will be number 6. We'll say 1 minus 2 root 3 on root 3 minus 2 root 2 to rationalize this. So let's do this one and you do the last one. So let's move on. We now say, from the previous example, we now say root 2 times or minus 1 is the same as root 2 plus 1 times root 2 minus 1 on root 2 minus 1. So this one, our focus is on this denominator because we want to rationalize the denominator. In the case where we want to rationalize the denominator, we have to look for a means that on this denominator we are going to get a form of common square. A form of common square whereby we are going to take off the square root sign from the denominator. So in order for us to do it this way, what you have to do here is you have to add, you have to multiply, you have to change this sign here, and then you multiply this quantity by the root of 2 minus the root of 1 divided by the root of 2 minus the root of 1 in such way that when you expand this, you are going to get a whole number here at the bottom. Because here you have something that is the root of common square. So in this case, we'll now see, root 2 times root 2 times root 2 is 2. And then root 2 times minus 1 is minus root 2. Root 2 times minus 1 is still minus root 2. And then minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. Divided by root 2 times root 2 is 2. Root 2 times minus this is give you minus root 2. Root 2 times plus 1, it gives you plus root 2. And then minus 1 times 1 gives you minus 1. So in this case, we see that 2 minus 2, we now say this is 2 plus, not plus, 2 minus 2 root 2 plus 1. This one will be now over 2, because this and this will cancel, 2 minus 1. So our answer here will now be, will now be 2 plus 1, which is 3, minus 2 root 2 divided by 1. And this is our answer. And we know that 2 minus 1 is 1. So this is our answer. So the example that I'm going to give you, or the assignment that I'm going to give, is please do the number 5 and do this one. If you have any question, meet me in the comment section. Thank you and see you in our new topic. Take care.